like a tropical forest, like a carp on the beat. When all is in order, you get lost in the heat. I feel so wonderful, wonderful, wonderful the way I feel. I feel so wonderful, wonderful, wonderful the way I feel. Done made it to me.
Please be seated. Welcome to all of you, especially to Christine and Greg on this joyful occasion. This place is sacred. The spirit of family and community is here. So welcome to this beautiful and sacred place, a place where many peoples have gathered since the beginning of time. We recognize the different indigenous tribes that have called this place home in the past, and we are grateful that today we may gather in celebration and love. May our footprint be small and our gratitude large. Dear friends, we have come together in the presence of our community to witness the covenant of marriage of Christine Porterfield and Greg Radovan, to surround them with our best wishes and to share in their joy. A covenant is a wholehearted commitment to the other, whatever the future may bring. Making a covenant is the highest expression of a loving commitment, not to be undertaken carelessly, but reverently and with joy. By our presence, we accept responsibility for supporting them in the new relationship they're about to enter. We're called to rejoice in their happiness, to be patient when they make mistakes, to help them in times of trouble, and to remember them in our thoughts. Christine and Greg, your covenant of marriage joins you for life in a relationship so intimate that it profoundly affects your whole being. It offers you the promise of love that is true and mature. Such love requires that you commit your lives to one another freely and without reserve for the sake of a deeper and wider life together. These two persons have come here to become one in this union. If anyone can show just cause where they may not be lawfully married, declare it now or hereafter remain silent. Christine and Greg, have you come here freely and without reservation to join together in this sacred covenant? If so, answer, I have. Okay. Before your community of friends and family, I ask you to affirm your willingness to enter this lifelong covenant and to share all the joys and sorrows of this new relationship, whatever the future may hold. Greg, will you take Christine to be your wife? Will you share her joys and burdens? Will you be honest with her? Will you love her, comfort her, honor and keep her in sickness and in health, and forsaking all others, be faithful to her as long as you both shall live? Will you stand by her no matter what happens? Will you respect her and seek to understand her needs and welcome her all the days of your life? If so, answer, I will.
I will.
Christine, will you take Greg to be your husband? Will you share his joys and burdens? Will you be honest with him? Will you love him and comfort him? Honor and keep him in sickness and in health, and forsaking all others, be faithful to him as long as you both shall live? Will you stand by him no matter what happens? Will you respect him and seek to understand his needs and welcome his love all the days of your life? If so, answer, I will.
I will.
Okay. To all of the friends and the family, Do you, the families of Christine and Greg, give them your blessing and promise to uphold and care for them in their marriage? If so, answer, we do. Will you give them your blessing and promise to support and honor them in their marriage? If so, answer, we do. Okay. Let us pray. God, our Creator, you have made us in your own image with a mind to understand your works, a heart to love you, and a will to serve you. Increase in us that knowledge, that love, and that faithfulness, that we may grow daily in your likeness. And I share with you a scripture passage from Sirach. A loyal friend is a powerful defense. Whoever finds one has indeed found a treasure. A loyal friend is something beyond price. There's no measuring the worth. A loyal friend is the elixir of life, and those who fear the Lord will find one. I want to speak to you today about an ancient Toltec wisdom shared with us by Don Miguel Ruiz. And it's the Four Agreements. You may already know about this. It talks about the four agreements, and they are the impeccability of your word. Make no assumptions. Take nothing personally. And do your best. These four agreements will help you to have a life that is fulfilling and rich in meaning. Impeccable with your word. Our language is important. How we use our words is important. It can define who we are. It can define our relationships and how we understand the world around us. And so I invite you to always be impeccable with your word, to use positive language when speaking about yourself and when speaking about one another and your relationship. Making no assumptions. This keeps you out of a lot of water. Because we can't know what is in another person's mind or heart unless we ask, unless we check with them. And so during those times where things aren't going the way that you had expected them to go, when your expectations are not matching the reality, then it's time to do a check-in, not to just assume that your partner knows what it is that you're wanting or what you're expecting, but to always ask and check and say, this is what I'm feeling. Is this what you're feeling? Or this is what I thought would happen. Is that what you thought would happen? So that you can work out a way of going forward together without those expectations of who they might be, but rather who you each are. And again, not taking anything personally. So that also is good advice for all of us, really. When something's going on, it may not be about you. It might be about them and something that's going on with them at work or in their own dream, their own journey. And so don't necessarily take it personally, but again, check and say, tell me what's happening. And always seek to understand one another. And the other is to do your best. Your best today may not be the same as your best yesterday or your best tomorrow. Your best is what you're able to do in that moment. And so focus on the moment. Focus on doing, on action. For that's how we become masters of love, is by living into that knowledge of one another, of living into the promise of your friendship and your love, and continuing to hold each other in respect and support. I pray that both of you will continue to uphold one another in your individual dreams and realities, and also to forge that path so that you can walk together and support each other as you continue to grow and love one another even more deeply than you do this day. If you'd like to hand your bouquet over, I invite you to take So, Greg, I'll say to you, Christine, I take you to be my wife,
Christine, I take you to be my wife,
to have and to hold from this day forward,
to have and to hold from this day forward,
for better, for worse,
for better or for worse,
for richer, for poorer,
for richer or poorer,
in sickness and in health,
in sickness and in health,
in joy and in sorrow,
in joy and in sorrow,
to love and to cherish,
to love and to cherish,
and to be faithful to you alone,
and to be faithful to you alone,
as long as we both shall live.
as long as we both shall live.
I, Christine, take you, Greg, to be my husband,
I, Christine, take you, Greg, to be my husband,
to have and to hold from this day forward,
to have and to hold from this day forward,
for better, for worse,
for better, for worse,
for richer, for poorer,
for richer, for poorer,
in sickness and in health,
in sickness and in health,
in joy and in sorrow,
in joy and in sorrow,
to love and to cherish,
to love and to cherish,
and to be faithful to you alone,
and to be faithful to you alone,
as long as we both shall live.
as long as we both shall live.
May I have the rings, please? Thank you. This ring is a sign of all that I am,
This ring is a sign of all that I am
and all that I have.
and all that I have.
Receive and treasure it as a token and a pledge
Receive and treasure it as a token and a pledge
of the love I have for you.
of the love I have for you.
It's hot out.
It's hot.
Should slide right on.
This ring is a sign of all that I am,
This ring is a sign of all that I am
and all that I have.
and all that I have.
Receive and treasure it
Receive and treasure it
as a token and pledge
as a token and pledge
of the love that I have for you.
of the love that I have for you.
You may now kiss one another. Exchanged vows and rings and signed the documents. I now pronounce Christine and Greg husband and wife. Christine and Greg, you have proclaimed your commitment in this holy place before your community of friends. I invite everyone to join me in the confirmation of this union, in the presence of this good company, and by the power of
Craig Porterfield, could you please just stand up and wave to the crowd? Next, we have the parents of the groom, Carol and Frank Radovan. Next, next we'll do the wedding party, first being the best man, Steve Radovan, and the maid of honor, Andrea Ackery. You need to stand, Steve. And I'll continue with the groomsmen and bridesmaids. First, for the groomsmen, we have Patrick Porterfield, Tomo Kerr, Nikhil Bandra, and Keith Smollett. And for the bridesmaids, we have Andrea Lawson. Andrea, Erica McKay, Shannon McIntyre, and Victoria Cox. And now the big moment, ladies and gentlemen, please be on your feet and put your hands together as I introduce the bride and groom, Greg and Christine. What's that? Oh, yeah, I did on purpose. Thank you all for being here tonight. For those of you that may not know me, which is probably about 95% of you, maybe save and except for those at table 1 and probably most at table 3. I'm Jeff Medeiros. And I will be your MC this evening. My wife, Erica, and I have known Christine and Greg probably for a few years now. Christine and Greg, how do we know each other again? That's a bit of a run-on joke. Needless to say, it's a bit complicated, but we did first meet in Guelph. Also, I like to take credit for bringing them here to Hamilton as well. So thank you. Hamilton is definitely their home. It's my home. And thank you for all of you for being here this evening here at the beautiful Hamilton Art Gallery. Before we begin this evening, on behalf of the bride and groom, I'd like to thank all of you for joining us here on this very special day for Christine and Greg.
We'll just take a moment. May the source of all life and love embrace everyone here. May we be full of gratitude for the fruit of creation, for all of the hands that were involved in bringing that food to bear with farming and trucking, everyone who was participating in the bringing the food to this table, who are serving it tonight. We are grateful for those who have provided this meal, and we're grateful for the love that is being celebrated by Christine and Greg, and so we celebrate that as we sit at table together and share food that has happened for millennia, coming together over table to know one another in loving relationship, and so may we all know that blessing this evening. Thank you. Amen.
The guests and the Radovan family members and the Porterfield family members. It's an auspicious day. Speeches. I mean, we were just talking about speeches in grade school, and I get that feeling, you know, grade 5 speeches. And what am I going to say? I remember Christine did a speech in grade 5, and it was on the Black Death. And I think she scared everybody in the class. It was classic. And I did promise not to embarrass Christine when I was up here, but you know, a couple of cocktails, really all bets are off. I'm sorry. One thing I do remember though is one of my first memories was dancing around the kitchen as when Christine was an infant with her on my shoulder, and this is in the old house in Guelph, and dancing to Bob Marley, and all of a sudden this woman walking on the sidewalk, which was right beside the kitchen window, stopped and peered in the window. And I just instinctively turned and, protected her from this woman's view. Like, it wasn't as if she was going to do anything or jump through the window at us, but, it's an instinctive thing to try and protect your children, and that's what happened. It was just an instinctive mood. Sometimes I wasn't particularly good at it. I remember taking a couple of toddlers in the little red wagon to the corner store and taking the corner too fast. All of a sudden I had toddlers spread out on the sidewalk screaming their heads off. Apparently they suffered no lasting effects. They both graduated university with honors, and so I think I'm absolved of any fault. Not that really Christine needed much protection. She's a very independent, always has been a very independent child. She rarely asked for help with homework. I probably could have helped with chemistry, but she always exhibited that independent streak from an early age. One thing, she literally fell off the horse and got right back on it after her broken arm healed. So she really sticks to it. One of the few times I can recall Christine calling for help was when she was at McGill, and we got a call from about 2 o'clock in the morning one night, and she was beside herself. A mouse in her room had climbed on top of her guitar. Well, of course, we live in Acton, and she's in Montreal in the student ghetto. There wasn't a lot we could do about it at 2 o'clock in the morning. So I think I suggested that she ask the mouse if it knew how to play Stairway to Heaven. That probably wasn't appreciated at the time. So, I have to put my glasses on. What was I going to say next? Anyway, I could have shown more sympathy, but I was sympathetic. Now we've arrived at Christine's wedding day, and she's accomplished so much to be proud of, with or perhaps in spite of my help. And she's got Greg now to support and be supported by, and I couldn't be more pleased. I'm really glad that you and Christine and Greg got together. Christine is always going to be my daughter, but now Greg and her will be embarking on a journey that is uniquely their own. And I truly hope that the future brings only happiness and joy to you both. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, very proud and happy parents of Greg and in-laws now of Christine. Every parent in the room, I'm sure, is going to agree that when your child is happy, you are over the moon. And today, you guys are over the moon, and this is an extraordinary day for us. So our hearts are bursting for you. We really wanted to say something kind of smart and insightful right now, and we really thought about it, and we kind of came up with, they seem to be already doing it, and then we came up with, Sharon and Craig are really smart, so they're going to come up with the good stuff, which you did. But then we're really saved today because Allison, with your 4 agreements, perfect. So that's the insightful part. And so we just decided, how often as parents do you just get to brag about your kids? So here we go. Christine, I'm hoping you can help us get started. Yeah. It's about Greg first. Now, Christine, do you agree with this statement that Greg, your new husband, is tall, dark, handsome, has a great sense of humor, and is very, very clever?
Yes.
Okay.
We have a winning daughter-in-law here, Christine.
Already.
Perfect.
So, okay.
Already have
Good
a perfect
answer.
daughter-in-law. There we
Okay,
go.
good answer. We like you already.
Good answer.
Okay.
Okay.
Beyond that with our Greg, and we've never really talked to Greg about this, so I don't know if he knows, but Greg has always had an amazing ability to make connections. First with people, and I think probably most people in the room kind of can feel that, but secondly with ideas. We've always been very impressed with Greg's natural ability to make friends. Casual acquaintances, deep friendships, and I think it's because he's genuinely interested. If if you're talking to Greg, he really cares about what you think. He's really interested in you and he sees you. And we've always appreciated that about Greg. I don't know if we ever told you that before. But anyway, we were really lucky one day. We'll just give you this little anecdote.
Just an example of
Yeah.
what Greg does.
It goes far and wide, and we were really lucky one day. Frank and I were traveling in the States, and we were away for an extended period of time. So we're coming back the border, car was totally loaded up. We're kind of lining up, and all of a sudden we start thinking, what's in that trunk? As we were preparing for declaring, what we had to come. Now, I don't want to suggest that we're bootleggers. However, all of a sudden we thought, what do we do with that bottle of wine that we bought, of course, 2 weeks ago? Anyway, so we're kind of getting ready to go to the border. We're very, we're Canadian, so we're thinking, they're going to have our picture plastered over every, border from here on in. Anyway, so we're a bit nervous going up to the border, and this, very officious-looking border guard was there, and we thought, oh, here we go. Yeah, this is going to be bad. Anyway, so we get up there, and where have you been, all that stuff, so we did all that. And then, he looked at our passports, and he said, Radovan? Do you know Greg Radovan? And we said, yes, we do. Anyway, he's Greg, such a great guy, and all this stuff. And we said, yes, we're his parents. So anyway, so he said, have a good day. And we said,
Thanks, Greg.
Anyway, so far and wide, it's good to know Greg Radovan. Make a note of that, guys. Anyway, you just never know when it's going to come in handy.
Of course, we didn't have,
Oh,
we
yeah.
weren't over the line, but.
No, we have to just finish the story. When we got home, we checked in the trunk. That bottle of wine was, who was kidding who? It was long gone. Not a worry, so we were okay. Anyway, but I just have to say that when it comes to our Greg, that truly, if we had a nickel for every time someone told us what a great guy Greg was and what a big heart, we would be very rich in money, but we're really more rich with that great heart. Anyway, I know. So now I got to tell you that he's also great at making connections. So, and Steve is too. So we've always been kind of amazed by this, that these guys kind of come up with some ideas, and you think, I wonder where that one came from. But Greg has always, from being this big, has seen the world in terms of possibilities. His worldview is very much, instead of up, down, right, wrong, more in, well, what if? Like how can things change? How can things be better? He's always made those connections, and we've always appreciated him. So often we get off the phone and we think, okay, where did he come up with that idea? We better, take another look at this. Then we met Christine. And did he ever meet his matching Christine? Just to back up a little bit, when a few months before we met Christine, Greg had moved in with us, and he was going back to school for a bit. We were so happy to think that he was going to be, living with us again for a short period of time. We were quite thrilled about that. And then he went to a party, and then every weekend after that, we'd be looking at each other and saying,
Greg?
Where's our roommate? He seems to be gone. Anyway, all roads are leading to Guelph, and obviously there was a big attraction in Guelph. A few months later, we met Christine, and all was revealed. We certainly understood why. So, when we met Christine, we had 3 first impressions, and we still have those today. The first one was, not only is Christine the girl for Greg, she's the girl for us. So, and that has never changed. Our second impression, and Greg, you can help us with this. So do you agree with this? That Christine is beautiful not only from the outside in, but more importantly, a 2-part question, from the inside out.
Yes, absolutely.
We guarantee a long, happy marriage.
And the third thing is that, Christine obviously has as many ideas as Greg does. When, by the time we finished meeting with them, we were very impressed that they seemed to have lots of good things in their head, thoughts of good, almost making inventions. Anyway, when we walked away from that, we thought, well, look out, world, because not only do they have big ideas and they can make change, they're aiding and abetting each other. So. Anyway, so we're really happy about that. But anyway, we're very, my notes are better than what I'm saying. But, I'm having such a good time, I can't think of my notes.
And so we'd like everyone to...
Oh, not yet. No.
Not yet. Come on.
I won the coin toss to talk. He's doing the, okay. But from the ancient... Okay. Okay, so at the beginning, we had nothing insightful to say, remember?
Right.
Yes. Okay, but we did come up with a few things that we want to talk about, and as Frank likes to say, this is a little bit of wisdom from the ancients, so we're the ancients. Number one, all those great ideas that you can come up with and things like that, take it from the ancients. When your partner gives you a great idea or a new thought or, something that you hadn't thought about before, and it's a real Lulu, and you're thinking, what fever brain brought this one up? Instead, you don't say that. Instead, say, uh-huh, and it will pass. No problem at all. Not a problem. We learned that one from Steve and Andrea. Anyway, and then finally, our final impression was, and I forget already.
Oh, I did too.
Anyway, it was all good. So whatever it was, it all came true and we're happy. And then finally, we also would like to say, in a more serious note, savor every moment. Blink and you'll be standing up here, like us. It goes too fast. Celebrate every day. You're always going to find something. Hold each other close. If bad things happen, learn from it if there's something to learn, and then our advice is to let it go. And finally, just remember, you guys are home. So with that,
Yes,
okay, now it's your turn.
Now it's my turn. Like everybody raise their glasses, please, and wish Greg and Christine a very happy, happy life together, all the greatest things in life, and good health, happiness, and possibilities. Cheers to Greg and Christine.
With Christine, as that commercial says, and there's more. And the more for us is the bonus of Sharon and Craig. We met them a couple years ago now, and we instantly had a friendship. It's deepened over time, and today we're very, very happy, we've said this before, that the marriage today promotes us from friends to family. And we could not be happier about that. And I don't know how I forgot it, but anyway. Okay, now I'm really done.
I wanted to start off by thanking Greg and Christine for inviting me to be part of their special day, and to all the family, friends, bridesmaids, and groomsmen who had a hand in making today as wonderful as it is. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Andrea, as I was just introduced. I'm the maid of honor. Christine, you look beautiful. Greg, I've never seen you look more handsome, but more importantly, you both look so happy. I've known Christine for 11 years. We were teenagers when we met at our summer job at Rockwood Conservation Area. When I started working there, I was not expecting to come away from the experience with the most important friendship of my life. Christine and I didn't grow up together or even go to the same school, despite my best efforts to convince her to come to Queen's with me. McGill is an all right school too, I guess. We never were really in convenient proximity to each other, except for in the summers and that one time that we both lived in Ottawa for a few months. So I wanted to just tell this one Ottawa story because I think it says a lot about the kind of person Christine is. I was in Ottawa for my first semester of law school, which was a totally foreign and intimidating experience. And Christine was living basically down the street from me, and I can't even look at you right now, Christine. I'm gonna start crying. I was so glad to know that she was there. So one time, I locked myself out of my car with the keys in the ignition with the car on. And this was a freezing cold winter day in Ottawa. And as I was standing there, just sort of helplessly gazing at my keys dangling in the ignition, Christine walked down the street to bring me a hot drink, a hat that she had knitted, and some much needed company. We called CAA, and it was all fine. But I think that really shows the kind of person Christine is. She will comfort you, and then she will make a plan with you for how you're going to improve your situation. She's very sensible. I still have that hat. Most years, though, we lived in different cities, but we always found our way back to each other. Our friendship was and is something that we actively chose and continue to choose all the time. We chose to remain in touch after that first summer at Rockwood together, and then chose to remain close in all the years since. For me, I chose Christine because I recognized her for the special person she is. Her intelligence, her wit, her creativity, the care that she's brought to our friendship, the way that she's always really engaged with me about everything from abstract ideas and opinions to the best nail painting techniques, to important career decisions, to how to knit a chunky scarf and beyond. She's one of the most thoughtful, considerate, and genuine people that I've ever met. And she's someone who I know I want in my life. Today, we're here to celebrate Greg and Christine's choosing of each other and everything that means. It means that they recognized what was special in each of them and decided to live their lives together at each other's side. I know that Greg is a special person first because Christine chose him, and I trust Christine's judgment. Also, of course, Greg's kindness, warmth, and sincerity is obvious as soon as you meet him, and I could not imagine a more supportive and loving partner for Christine. It's clear to me that Christine and Greg fill each other's worlds with joy, comfort, and love. I have every confidence in their ability to navigate their future together. I understand that traditionally the maid of honor closes her toast with a quotation about love or with a word of advice. But instead, I'll just say this: continue to be each other's home and continue to choose each other every day. To Christine and Greg.
Hi, everyone. It's a tough speech to follow. My parents' speech was a lot and then very heartfelt. I'm just going to try to keep it clean and concise, as I was told to do. Hi, everyone. I'm Steve. Hey, guys. I'm Greg's brother, older brother, if that matters to anyone. I'd first like to say thank Greg for asking me to be a part of his big day. It really means a lot to me. Also want to thank my other fellow wedding party members. Thanks for making today a special day. It's been great to get to know you guys over the last, the bachelor parties, the showers, the whatever, and everything else in between. You guys are awesome. Good to know you guys. I've known Greg a long time. Some may say a lifetime, for him at least. I was a little older. But you know what, that's not a bad thing. Growing up as brothers, we had our battles. We'd fight over anything and everything, Nintendo, who could do something the best, I don't know, ants. Maybe some of you might understand what that means. But one time that really stands out to me was we were young. I was probably 11, 12, something like that. Greg was 6 or 7. And we were walking to the park, and we started to fight, physically fight. Not just talking like we do now. This wouldn't really stand out on a normal day because, that happened probably every time we walked to the park. But this time, a police officer drove up. And he pulled up, and he rolled down his window, and he said to Greg, and at this time I was like, oh, this is really bad for me. Like, this is not going to end well. I don't know what's going to happen. Like, damn you, Greg. Anyway, he says to Greg, is this kid bothering you? And I was just like, oh, this is not good. But, Greg says, no, he's just my brother. And you know what? I knew then and forever that Greg would always have my back, and I'd always have his. Greg's a great guy, a good friend, but he's a better brother. Christine, you're marrying a passionate, honest, and loyal guy that knows how to keep his mouth shut around the fleece. But he truly cares for you, and you guys clearly make a great team. Greg and Christine, I'm happy, excited, and hopeful for the future for you guys. I wish you nothing but love and joy. I'd like everyone to raise a toast to Greg and Christine. Cheers. Cheers.
So I'd like to begin by thanking you all for being here today for this July wedding in late September. It feels nice to be in an air-conditioned room. Thank you for being there for our ceremony. It was a hot one for sure. And just to thank you all for being here. So today we have guests traveling from as far as Hamburg, Germany, as well as Victoria, British Columbia, Vancouver, British Columbia, and all over the province. Of course, Toronto, Guelph, everywhere in between. To my new parents-in-law, I want to say it's a pleasure to officially be part of the family. From day one, I want to say that Craig and Sharon and Patrick they welcomed me into their home and treated me like family, really from day one. And it's a real pleasure to make it official finally. To my own parents, as you could probably tell from their speech, they're incredibly loving and supportive parents. I mean, really, what more could I possibly say? I had an amazing upbringing and memories, that you carry with you forever. I'm very happy that Christine will have a very loving and caring parents-in-law. I want to tell you about something that happened to me today. Fate is such a funny thing, So I had a few last-minute things to do today, to just, to a few last-minute details for the wedding. I don't know if you noticed them, but those potted plants back there, the mums, they were kind of behind the wedding party, behind my groomsmen, behind the bridesmaids. So I really should have brought those in yesterday, but I brought them in this morning, and I was due to be at Steve's place, my best man's place at noon, to meet with all the other groomsmen. And so I got here maybe at around maybe 11:15. I put some coins in the machine till 11. And I started bringing these things upstairs. And everywhere was locked, so I thought, no problem. I'm just going to buzz in security. They'll let me in, no problem, no answer. So I just brought them up this staircase in the middle of everything here, and just two at a time. And I thought, I'll just find a place to like put them down. I found a place in the fence, like kind of a space in the fence, and I started just reaching over and with my other hand, like just kind of grabbing them and then bringing them down inside the fence. And so I did this, like I had like 4 of them over, and then the security guard comes out and he goes, "You look pretty funny bringing those potted plants over the fence." And I said, "Those are for my wedding." And he goes, "So you're the florist for today?" And I was like, "No, I'm the groom." He let me inside. He's like, "I could just open the gate for you." He was a really nice guy, actually. He opened the gate. I asked him if he was going to be here all night. He said yes. So be very nice to the security guard on your way out. He's a nice guy. And then I said, "I have one more thing I need to get for my car. Can I just bring it in through the front door?" And he said, "Of course." So it was actually this easel. So I had to go get that from the trunk of my car. I brought it upstairs. Done deal, right? I walk out. It's 11:02. I get to my car, and there's a ticket on the car. What are the odds, Steve, right? So, 1 in 10. So, all this to say is, fate is just a really funny thing. I mean, you think that you have everything, predicted in your mind, and then all of a sudden, there's a curveball in your way. But fate also has a great way of bringing people into your life that you would not expect at all. And you would really not believe the random chain reaction of events that brought Christine and I together. And I often think back on that in wonder and in awe, and I'm very thankful. I thank fate every day for bringing us together and bringing a part of my life into my life. And it's just something that I always will treasure. And very thankful that it happened to me. So that's what happened to me today. I'm like halfway done, maybe. So. 2 years ago, Christine and I moved here from Guelph. And we've been very touched by the community we have here. We've also been very touched by the community that we left in Guelph. I have roots in Toronto. Christine has roots just outside of Guelph. And it's a really wonderful thing that we've been able to maintain the network of communities that we have. It's very meaningful to all of us. And in thanking each one of you for being here today, I'd also like to thank really the friendships and the connections that you have all worked hard to maintain with us as well. So thank you. Very recently, my best man and brother moved here from Toronto, and he actually lives about a 10-minute walk, like a 5-minute bicycle ride away from us. And it's a real pleasure to have him in our community, to share this community together with him. And it's a real pleasure to be a short walk away from your brother and from someone who I obviously have such a close, tight-knit connection with. It's a proud honor to be your brother, and it's great having you nearby. And thank you for being my best man. I'd also like to thank my groomsmen, of course. You guys are rock solid. You guys are a lot of fun. One of you I've known for a very long time. One of you has always been there. You've always all been there to support me, but one in particular. And one of you is hosting the after party, and it's a surprise. That's you, Pete. I'm just kidding. Or maybe not, I don't know. That's really all that I have to say. It's a real pleasure. Thank you so much for being here for us, and I hope you've had a great night. Thank you for being at our wedding. And believe it or not, this is half the speech, so I'm going to invite my beautiful wife and to say a little bit more.
All right, I wasn't as prepared as Greg, I'm sorry. I want to thank everyone for coming, for celebrating with us. It was very surreal standing at the end of the aisle and looking out and seeing all the people that we love and support us and care about us and that we care about and want to support looking back at us. That's something you don't get to experience very often in life, so that's something I'm really going to treasure. To my parents, you've raised me to be the independent person that you were talking about before, which makes it hard for me to express this kind of sentimental thing. But I'm so happy to have your relationship with each other to look up to and to aspire to in the relationship that Greg and I have built. And thank you for welcoming him so readily when you first met him and he was shaggy haired and just kind of as someone who had been coming to visit me pretty well every weekend in Guelph. I remember what you said, Dad. You said you made a comment about his bangs. You had it, Greg? I won't go on, but he cleans up really well, yeah. And you know, I loved him then too. So, yeah, I feel very fortunate to have parents like you who have raised me well as a child, tolerated me as a teenager, and now love me and support me. And I feel like each stage of our relationship I look forward to more and more. So thank you. And to Carol and Frank, I can't imagine having better now in-laws. You guys, again, have welcomed me, like Greg was saying, from day one. Like, I never felt like an outsider. When I first met you, I think we were headed to Greg's convocation, actually. And I remember feeling like being a little on the awkward side, like going into it thinking, I don't know what it's going to be like being able to spend 2.5 hours just with my boyfriend's parents. Like, how is that going to work out? And it worked out well. You guys were just so welcoming and so warm to me, and you continue to be, and I feel incredibly lucky to now have 2 sets of parents and 2 strong relationships to look up to in my life. So thank you. And to Steve and Andrea, thank you so much as well. I'm very excited to have a new brother and sister-in-law, and to Patrick as well. I'm very happy that you're back in Ontario and we can share stories about growing up a little bit closer than across the country. So that's really nice too. To my bridal party, thank you so much. Erica, Andrea, Shannon, Victoria. I learned from the wedding planning process that I'm a lot more type A than I thought I was. And they offered to help so much, and I so appreciate it. And I need to learn to let go a little bit better, but your offers to help were as good as actually helping. I'll tell you that much. And Andrea, I mean, I can't ask for a better friend. Our relationship is very special to me, and your speech was incredibly touching, and I look forward to seeing what the next stages of our life bring us. So, and to my groom, my life changed the day that I met Greg, and I loved him pretty early, and I knew it very soon. Like, I know they say when you know, or whatever, and that sounds kind of trite, but I knew very early on with Greg that he would be the person who I would want to spend my life with. And my life has improved, and the way that I view the world has improved astronomically since meeting him. I find I'm a lot more open, and I'm just a lot kind of brighter than I was before. So I'm very thankful for that. And that's all. That's all I have to say.
True love will find you in the end. You're gonna find out who was your friend. Don't be sad, I know you will. Don't give up until true love will find you in the end. This is a promise with a catch. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I never knew. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful